Yo, what's good everyone? Maplestory just released their Stargazer patch notes officially, and I know there are a lot of people who've already made patch notes breakdown, and I'm a little late to the party, but it's better late than never, so let's get started. So right off the bat, we are given a overview on Sia Estelle, and obviously we knew she was a mage class. We didn't know what her Legion bonus were or her Link skill, but they're given to us now, and it's abnormal status damage going all the way to 6%. And her Link skill is actually buff duration and crit damage 3%. So these are actually pretty good Legion bonuses and Link skill. So I think I'll actually be utilizing that in my bossing section. So I think it'll be very nice. Okay, moving forward, they give us what her primary weapon is and all of these. It shows all what they look like all the way up to the Genesis weapon. They show her secondary as well all the way up to Pino. And obviously they show her emblems and some titles that you get once you achieve certain levels. Moving on to the bread and butter of Sia Estelle patch notes is that they have finally released what her skills are, like the specific abilities and detailed versions of them. So as you can see, this class is a combo class, one that has a marking skill, and then once you have those marking skills done and it fills up, you get to use the constellation skills, which is probably the upgraded version, or you do more damage and you get more buffs for it. So at the beginner tab, we have the usual return to Ort, which is Sia's hometown. Starry Wave is descends slowly by gliding upon starlight. It looks like she has like a slowdown when she jumps or something. She also has this thing called Stellar Equalize, which is basically the same as Hero's Echo, so it's nothing new about that. And last but not least, there is a stellar marking buff that she has for herself, and this basically helps you maintain and pull off the combo system that she has. So now that we got the beginner skills out of the way, we're going to be looking at the first job. Now, she is a flash jump and TP class, so that's actually really nice to see. And she has this thing called Starlight, which is an active toggle that attacks periodically every time you attack. So it kind of feels like it's the same as like Night Lord marks, where it just like comes out occasionally, or like other classes that have like these marking skills, right? So for the Constellation combo skill, it's basically a hold that sucks in all nearby enemies and deals damage towards them. As for the rest of the first job skills, it's just basically passive buffs that you get that increases like your damage or decreases damage taken. The second job skills has a lot of passive buffs that you can level up. It has a new marking skill called Boom, and their constellation skill, when you combo correctly or build up the correct fusion, is basically it summons a lizard that will be able to follow and track enemies throughout the map. And I feel like it's the same as like the Cygnus Night chickens that they summon out, but maybe just a better version because it actually goes and tracks enemies along the way. So as was seen in the last job, we get a new marking skill, and this one is called Pole. In the third job, your toggle skill is boosted. You do get a class summon for the constellation damage. It's basically an IED buff combo. You also get a summon that spins around you and deals more damage, and you also get a Starlight Link combo as well. Once again, in fourth job, we are given a new marking skill. This one is called Link. And for the constellation skills, you basically summon blade combos that deal damage and tracks the enemies. There's another one that's basically a summon that deals damage and gives you a buff that attacks periodically. There's a buff that gives you final damage for a short time and ignores certain abnormal status effects. Throughout all the first and fourth jobs, there is a lot of passive buffs that, you know, are kind of just similar to the same as other classes. So I kind of just move over them as fast as I can because they're just basically the same thing. I don't want to be like a rinse and repeat type of thing. For the hyper skills now, the passive ones are basically the same as other classes. It buffs your marking, just random buffs, and it also buffs your constellation skills as well. Now for the hyper skills active portion, you have one that's called a Canopus. So you summon a Canopus that deals damage. It is part of like the combo system and whatnot, and you get a Light of Capella buff, which increases crit damage and crit rate. It's also part of like the constellation combo thing. And also you get a random buff that gives damage, which is not a part of the combo, so I think you just have to press it and you get the buff. And now we're going to be talking about the 6 job skills. Now there are marking skills that deals damage. There's one that summons a wolf that deals damage. There's another one that summons an hourglass that explodes and deals damage. It's part of your combo constellation thing again. There's a thing called Time Bender. It might be different from a normal bind or anything, or maybe it lasts longer, but it seems like it just immobilizes targets as well. So I'm kind of curious as to see what it actually does. And last but not least, there's this thing called Salvor Circle, which basically seems to combine all the constellations together, and you can deal probably an extraordinary amount of damage for a short period of time, which seems pretty sick to me. So moving on, as we stated in the earlier video, the new area is called Ort, if hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. And these are the mobs that are being displayed in Ort. They actually kind of look cute, a little not my taste, but I think I can get used to it if I do end up playing Sia, which I probably will from making a guide out of it. Now, the newest thing that came out with Sia is called the Urda Link. So as everyone has predicted, as the patch notes, people were saying that the Urda Link was going to be, it's like they made a mistake, like they weren't supposed to be Sia exclusive, or maybe they think it's every class exclusive, but so lo and behold, it is a Sia exclusive thing. And basically speaking, it's kind of, so I was reading up on it, honestly, before I made this video, and it does give similarities to that of like the 6 job, so it's nothing like too complex or anything like that. There are 5 types of stones that are activated, and you can activate these stones, by the way, with Soul Urda Energy and Soul Urda Fragments. So we're going to be going over all those 5 types of stones individually. So starting with number 1, it's called the Origin Stone. This is basically the same as the Origin Skill, and you get it for free once you finish the 6 job quest. Now the second one is called the Ultimate Stone. Now this is basically same as leveling Master Skills, but it requires Light Power. Now I'll be going over what Light Power is and how to get more of these light power soon after I go over these stones. So once again, the third one is called the Skill Stone. It's the same as the 5th job boost nodes, and it also requires light power. The Boost Stone, you basically get extra bonuses and effects when activation conditions are met. This cannot be enhanced, and it needs light power. Last but not least, we have the Rush Stones. You basically get bonus stats. This also cannot be enhanced, and it's available when previous stones, connected stones, are activated. So TLDR, to expand the light power, you actually just need to go through and unlock the previous ones that are unlocked. So as you can see in this video, they basically show what the light power is. There is like a border of like where it expands, right? Where the maximum amount it can expand. And as you can see, as soon as you unlock the ones closest to the edge, specifically, the other ones will unlock, which will indirectly increase the light power range and how large it expands. So it's nothing too complicated. I'll probably make a in-depth guide on the Urda Link and Sia in general in the near future. So if you guys are interested in that, or whatever I'm explaining here was a bit too confusing, you guys can stay tuned for that. Now, another new thing that Sia has, it's called the Shine Stones. Now, from my understanding, it's basically the same as Hexastat, but the only kick to it is there are chances to fail, and you have to spend Meso's energy and frags. So you're basically just doing Gamba post level 11 stats. It goes up to 20, just like I said. It's similar to that of like Hexastat, so it doesn't seem like that all too confusing, to be honest. So now that we got Sia's abilities out of the way, we're going to be talking about the event that she has exclusively to her, and it's called Wish Upon a Shooting Star. The rewards that you get for doing this has to be on the Sia. Like, you have to play on the Sia to get these rewards. You can obviously transfer the rewards that you can get later, but in order to even unlock it, like I said before, you do have to play Sia. So there are 2 different things that you can do for the Sia exclusive event. There's one called Wishes of Progress and Wishes of Style. As you guys can tell by the title, Progress one is a level-based progression reward, and the Style one's obviously the cosmetic reward. Nexon added a little bit of extra juice for Sia is when you buy the premium pass, you actually get to unlock this hunting perks and log in rewards. So basically, we have all of these basically regular stuff here, where we get the basic events, right, or the basic rewards that we get if you don't buy the pass. And in the other section is actually the premium pass rewards. Now, this premium pass is actually really juiced, and from my understanding with talking to others and talking to other people about Sia, is that you can actually go from 200 to 254 straight from the pass. And if you had saved your mag pods and also your EXP vouchers from the previous event, you can immediately just go to 260 on basically day 1, if you so choose to. And like I said, the premium pass also has a premium login event. You basically get the rewards for the login event, some cosmetics, and some Soul Urda Fragments, Experience Node Stone. So I think it's a really juiced pass. This is probably one of the most juiced passes that we have for a certain class. I wish we had it for MX, but you know, there is no love for MX, unfortunately. Moving forward, the Wishes of Style. These are the style boxes and style things you can get as cosmetics, so you guys can go through that on the website if you guys are interested in it. But we do a little recap before we move on to the next section. We talked about Sia's abilities. We talked about her Legion and Link skill. We also talked about the Erda linked, and we also talked about the SIA exclusive event from the past and the login events and rewards that you can get. And now we're going to be talking about the overall update for the game. Now, as everyone was anticipating, skill sequence is finally here. We don't have to press so many buttons to buff up. On one click on the sequence, it will press everything at once. Now you can go up to 10 different sequences and you can name them as well, so it's easy to figure out which one you're pressing and also to find what you're pressing and whatnot. So there'll probably be one for like the 3-minute burst and like the mini burst and all that, so that's really nice to see. There are some limitations to this, so please read up on it. One of the biggest limitation is that skills with active cooldowns or reuse features will not be used. Skills that cannot be used due to insufficient gauge, MP, or other reasons will be skipped. There will be a system message that it will be skipped, so you gotta be careful on it, because if your cooldowns are actually not up, it will not come out and it actually might fuck up your burst. So be wary of that, and you still pay attention to your cooldowns, okay guys? That's like the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing. So moving on to the big portion of this patch, actually, there is a common skill improvement and bug fixes. So there are a lot of the common skills that are getting fixed and whatnot. For example, like Decent Holy Fountain, Dice, etc. And if you really want to figure out like the specific things, you could just Control F on the website and look things up. I think that'll be the best way instead of watching through the video to see if I'm talking about what got improved and whatnot. Now we're going to be talking about the job skill improvements and bug fixes. Now I won't go into detail of like everything that got changed, but I will give you guys I guess TLDR on what got buffed and what got nerfed. If I didn't mention the class, you guys would probably just be able to get the quality of life changes rather than the actual buff. So moving forward, Paladin got a slight buff. Bowmaster may be a nerf. It's not that big though. It's decreased seeking range. I don't play Bowmaster myself, so I'm not really sure. Marksman got a buff. They got an additional damage. Pathfinder got a buff. They got increased attack interval for one of their abilities. Engage increased to 30. DB is a buff. The final cut CD is reduced and increased haunted edge Asura range. Corsair got a buff. Their firing range increased and the action delay decreased. Cannoneer got a buff. They got increased summon duration 3%, and the Monkey Fury applies to all Cannoneers, which means parties with more than one Cannoneer is buffed. Dawn Warriors got a buff. They got a damage buff. Blaze Wizard got a damage buff. Nightwalkers got nerfed with their Dark Omen. Aron's got a buff. Their CD of Golden Burst is decreased. Lumi got a new skill and also ruined the skill. It's probably a buff though. Mercedes basically got balanced. They removed some damage on stunned enemies and increased lightning edge skill. Shade got a Spirit Frenzy buff, so that is the class summon buff. Blaster, they got some balance. Some skills are increased and some skills are decreased, so they balance things out. Bam got a buff. Their Dark Brand duration and number of attacks were increased. New skills were added for Xenon. New skills were added for Kaiser, and they buffed to Infernal Breath. Hana got pretty big buffs. The damage increased. CD on skills also decreased, so you can use it more often. Hayato got nerfed for party play. Cadena were balanced, increased number of attacks, but decreased damage of hits from bat. Adele got a nerf in damage. Ilium got a buff. They got increased search range from their crystal expanse. Arc got a buff. They got increased attack range from Vengeful Hate. And last but not least, Lin actually did get a buff. Their Giga buff ability, Awaken, you can use it way more often now. You can use it actually twice now, so that's pretty big. Now, because I play on Reboot Chronos or heroic servers, I don't really care too much about the Crossworld Auction House or Crossworld Mesa Market. If you guys do care, please feel free to just check the website and do your own research there. Now, more quality of life changes, guys. As we mentioned in previous videos, the Genesis weapon awakening changes. So basically speaking, if you can solo C Tenny, solo Lu Will, and solo H Lomian, you are able to live as fast as 3 months, and you don't need to do Black Mage either. You should be doing Black Mage because obviously chances of pitch drop, you can get more chances of arcane box drops or ring boxes, and it does help with your live process. It does help by like 1 or 2 weeks, so that's pretty good to have, right guys? Now we're going to be talking about the new Monster Park improvements. So as everyone knows, you need to clear 77 times for each day to get the medal. But now they changed it to 30 daily clears to get it, or 3 Monster Park Extreme. Now everyone's going to be like, oh, but 3 Monster Park Extreme, you can get it in 3 days. No, they also changed it as well. So now Monster Park Extreme is actually a weekly thing. And on top of that, you can do it on 2 characters. Now it is good for players that are progging multiple characters, but it's not that good if you're only progging 1 character. Another thing to note is that we don't get the Sunny Sunday Monster Park bonus EXP for the Monster Park, unfortunately. So it's technically a nerf for individual characters, but it is a buff to multiple main characters. Moving on to epic dungeons. So these are 260 plus dungeons, and obviously there's one for High Mountain and one for Odium. So as everyone knows, that you can only choose one, correct, per account. You can either choose Angler Company, or you can choose High Mountain. But Nexon has just released that you can actually do both of them, but they have to be on separate characters. So if I do Kali on Angler, I cannot do Kali High Mountain, but I can do MX High Mountain, and vice versa. They also made the epic dungeons a lot easier to clear as well, and fixed a lot of bugginess, so I can't wait to try it out myself. So now there's this new thing called soul order conversion. People run into the problem of having excess energy on their main character because they're farming too much and they don't need that extra energy. So Nexon did us a favor and they made a soul order conversion mechanic. Now, you get to have two different options. Basically, a faint soul order energy. You can convert your existing energy to more faint soul order energy that can be transferred into other characters, or you have the option to make a hexa booster, which is basically the same as the VIP booster, where it spawns like these fire mobs for like 100 seconds and you get a lot of EXP. Moving on, we got some auto harvest profession. Now auto harvest is actually very good because it's easier to manage now, and you also can get more rewards because they increase the coin amount, and they also increase the reward amount you can buy. So in theory, we can get a lot more Dusk Essences and Brilliant Dusk Essences, so that's very nice to see. So now we're moving on to one of my favorite changes, is actually one of the link skill changes. So if you are swapping and you have a lot of boss meals and you want to transfer links, you end up having a daily limit to them, and they also cost a lot to transfer as well. So Nexon decided to remove that entirely, so there is no more daily limit and it costs 0 mesos. So you're gonna be saving a lot of mesos every week. Now we're gonna be talking about some quest changes and improvements. Basically speaking, if you play on multiple worlds on one separate account, you have to go through all the pre-quests all over again. So Nexon made it so that if you had completed a pre-quest on a separate world and you transfer and go to a different world, it will allow you to skip it entirely. So no more needing to do so many different pre-quests on different worlds within the same account. And we got some cool symbol quest changes. Now everyone knows that in Grandis you have to kill 600 mobs in every region, right? And same with like Arcane River for the most part. So it goes from 500 mobs every single map. But as you unlock new areas in Grandis now, it actually decreases the amount of mobs needed to kill for this quest. So it goes from 500 from base, and then when you unlock a new area, the previous area now is 300, and then if you unlock 2 different areas, the 2 previous areas that you just passed in would be 100. So I know that was a little confusing to say, but all in all, and TLDR is that you would have to kill less in each region eventually, the higher and more regions you unlock. So this goes for Arcane River and Grandis total. Now, a cool thing for Arcane River is the weekly symbol quest. So when you complete one weekly symbol quest, you get 15, right? And you can do it up to 3 times, which means you can get 45 total for that region. Now you can actually get 40 for completing 1. So technically you're getting 120. So it's 45 weekly symbols. Now it's changed to 120 from the weekly symbol quest. So this is separate from the daily, of course. Now there are some UI improvement changes. We got some Legion block changes, and I think this is like a makeshift Legion solver as well. I'm not really sure how this is going to work. I'll try to figure it out myself, and I might just use the third-party website like I'm used to be honest. Now we got some medal and title. You can actually customize your own medal. I'm not too into this, so I'm probably going to be skipping over this. The quest UI changes. Actually, I've already experienced this before because I just logged on now, and I actually really like this. It just makes it a lot easier to find the quests that you're looking for and manage them as well. Some key binding UI changes. It just makes it look a little bit more cleaner, which is kind of always nice to see. They actually updated the chat window UI. It looks a little bit more bold now, a little bit cleaner as always. You can actually customize the color of it. So you can obviously have the white one for all. You can keep it all default and everything. I think there's a bug right now where it actually makes the all chat the same as the orange. So you probably want to go ahead and change that right now. So now there's map movement and improvement changes. So there are these portals for these main towns that you can take, and all you have to do is like press your up arrow key as like always with portals, and you can actually just choose to go to the Maple World, Grandus World, or Arcane River World. So it's all these in 3 major towns in 3 major places, so it's easier to move around. And now, talking about moving around easily, the hyper teleport rock changes are here. So they're actually getting rid of the hyper teleport physical rock that you can get from the cash shop, and now it's going to be implemented into the map UI. So if you want to travel to places, you would have to buy a hyper teleport rock or a premium hyper teleport rock, and you can buy those within the actual map UI itself. Now, the core difference between the Hyper Teleport Rock and the Premium Hyper Teleport Rock is that the Hyper Teleport Rock has a 5-minute CD, which is kind of lame, but obviously we're going to be buying the Premium Hyper Teleport Rock, so there is no CD, and it costs around 100 mil, so it's actually not that bad, and it lasts for 31 days, so that's very good to see. So now there's a new world map UI, it's a lot easier to find things, and a lot easier to navigate. On top of that, they also changed the mini-map, and as I said earlier, their initial change for this was because to make things easier and to find things without any trouble. So now we're going to be talking about some boss reward changes. So as everyone knows, in party bossing, everyone ends up going to the left corner or right, most likely left, and they blink, and whoever blinks the furthest ends up winning the loot. Now, there are some obviously swipers and there are some yoinkers that end up taking the loot, so having this distribution setting is actually a pretty nice way to figure out how to distribute the items fairly. And on top of that, for higher value items, when this setting is enabled, and these higher items obviously include all the pitch items, the system will give all players a random number from 1 to 999, and whoever has the highest number will win that loot pool. So it's kind of an easier way to kind of figure out who gets the loot when a higher value item loot drops. There are some like hacks I'm pretty sure I've heard of. It's called like a blink hack, where you can actually blink to the furthest area. So this will also dissuade people from getting and abusing that system, in my opinion. There are some other changes like smart AI corrections, some item improvements, mainly about like the premium hyper teleport rock and whatnot, potential stamps, but those are not too important in my opinion. And we're going to be moving on to the actual event now. It's called the Morningstar Banquet. So in Morningstar Banquet, you basically have like, it's basically similar to any other event where you have a daily check-in that you want to do 5 times a week. So all you have to do is log on, press a daily feast, and you get your reward. There is another special feast preparation one where you have to kill 6k mobs in a week, 3 times a week. Now you don't have to do this all in one day, but you can choose to do so, just to finish it all at once, which is not even that bad. 6k mobs is like nothing for us now. So you could basically do that 3 times a week, and you get rewards based on that as well. And the reward you get from that is the memento coin times 1000. So you get 1000 coins for finishing 2k mobs 3 times a week, as a total of 6k mobs in 1 week. Now these are the daily feast prep rewards. As shown earlier, these are all the rewards, and then these are like the specific rewards and like what they look like, so you guys can check that out. At the end of the 50-day daily check-in, you do end up getting a transcendent growth potion. That's pretty good to see. So now we're going to be talking about the event buffs. Now, from the daily check-in, we get a fixed number of Morning Light Phantom points and Starlight Phantom. So it's a lot easier. We get 5 points each per checkout. So it's around 25 points every week, because we can do them 5 times a week. So as always, you guys can prioritize boss damage. If you guys want to prioritize EXP, monster part clears, etc., etc. It just honestly depends on where you are at the game and what you want to accomplish. So the coin shop is here, guys. You guys can check out the rewards from the coin shop yourself within the game. I think it's a lot easier to see than reading all this. It's got some good things for newer players, as always, the fairy hearts and the event rings and whatnot. So it's good to gear up your mules, or if you're a new character, it'll be good to progress with it. Victory badge exchange. This is basically just killing your weekly bosses and obtaining these badges that you can use. 2000 is the max victory one, and there is actually a special victory one. So these include special bosses that you need to clear, and these special bosses include normal Kalos, extreme Lotus, normal Cowling. So if you can do all this, you get an extra 50 in the special shop. So as you guys can see, this is the victory badge. This is just the basic store. It's kind of like similar from the last event, so you guys can check it out yourself. Once again, it's easier to see there. The difference between the victory badge exchange, like the advanced one and the basic one, is you actually get these Karma Abyssal Rebirth Flame. So these are basically considered Giga Flames. So you can get a higher chance of getting like tier 7 flame. So these are really good to see. And if you can do those harder bosses, it is very, very worth to do all of them. You also get the Mugong Soul and the Soul Urda as well. Meso Shop, I'm going to skip because no one really, participates in the Meso Shops. You can get some cool cosmetics. There are some, like, obviously, the Cygnus Knights thing. I do have a Thunderbreaker, so I might actually end up copying it for 2 bill, which is not even that bad. Story of Servant. I'm not really sure what this is. I'm just assuming that you get some rewards by following some storyline. I'm going to figure that out once I actually play the game, because I don't think they really provided much information on this. Banquet's Blessing is basically just the AFK zone. You can basically just stay on the map and just like AFK, and you get some passive EXP. Obviously, the higher the level you are, the less EXP you're getting. So be warned, it's better than doing nothing. If you like to leave your computer on, it's actually pretty good EXP because you're going to be like AFK for like 8 hours plus, right, guys? We got Broomies Cleanup. This is like the last event where you just kill mobs, and periodically like a skill will help you clear the mobs and you get extra EXP. So it's good for leveling. And now we're going to get Hpyerburning Max. Everyone knows that we are getting Hpyerburning Max. So this is a 1+4 event. You get, as soon as you level up, you get 4 levels. So you're essentially getting 5 levels. And you can level up very, very fast at 260. And you can also send it to the challenge world. So that's something that I will be doing personally. And I'm probably going to be Hpyerburning maxing a Mercedes. I might end up making like a solo progression challenger world guide, more so because I know there are a lot of players who want to play solo or don't have a lot of friends to play with, and they might be dissuaded of doing the challenger world things and thinking they can't do it. But I'm going to prove it to you guys and show that you can do this solo. As we're moving on, this is the rewards you get for the Hpyerburning Max. Like I said, once again, you guys can check it within the UI itself because it's a lot easier to see. We also do get a Terra Blink. You can get to 200 very, very quick, and you can start your journey to 260. So once again, item burning is back, and basically this event is you get a box, and they give you a set amount of items, aka like Absolab gear, and to upgrade those items, you would need to solo these bosses. So the more bosses you can solo, the stronger your item burning equipment can get, and the stronger your character gets essentially. So that's very nice to see. Now we're going to be talking about Challenger World. So Challenger World, we've been talking about this before. I might make a whole separate video on this, on what Challenger World is, the rewards you can get, and I'll do a whole progression video on Challenger World. So if you guys are very confused on that, stay tuned. I'll probably make a video in the next couple days. Last but not least, some miscellaneous events. We got the Hpyerburn World Leap. So Nexon figured that Kronos is very, very populated and Hyperion is not. So Nexon is given the opportunity to transfer into Hpyerburn. You get some rewards for a couple days. It's not honestly that incentivizing, so I don't expect a lot of players to actually go there, unfortunately. I think they could have done a better method of incentivizing players to move over, but I think they did kind of a poor job here, so I'll probably not be swapping over. Summer Sky, this is for like new players on a tutorial mission. This could also be used for existing players. We do get a good amount of rewards, like as you can see, the first one's like 3x coupon, so we can use that. So even like veteran players should be doing this to get the free rewards, and newer players as well, because it's actually a pretty good tutorial. And as you can see, the events rewards are here. When you're actually doing it in the game itself, it's a lot easier to see what kind of rewards you can get. And honestly, this is very, very nice. Once again, Loxana is coming back. Basically, it's an AFK area. You get a lot of EXP for doing absolutely nothing. So it's basically a pay-to-win AFK area. We got some Miracle Time events coming up for June 14th. We got hat. June 28th is top bottom outfit. July 12th, etc., etc. So make sure you guys copy this date so you can get all your equipment to legendary very, very cheaply. Sunny Sunday events, we basically have double Ruin Day back to back. That is actually very, very crazy. This is so much EXP back to back weekends. And on top of that, we get a Shining Star Force on June 29th. This is going to be so good. I'm going to try and save 200 bill. I think I can get it. I have a little bet going on. Let's just say it seems a bit impossible right now, but if I grind a lot, I can definitely make it. The July 6th, we get 50% off ability reset. So make sure you are saving your honor EXP and not spending it until July 6th. And then on July 13th, we get another 30% off as well. Well, there you guys have it. That's the patch notes breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was a pretty lengthy video and you can skip around. I'll have some like chapters so you can skip around to see which ones you want to look at. Once again, I do stream on Twitch daily. It's twitch.tv/AaronsongTV, or you can actually watch my YouTube stream here if you're more comfortable with that. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Please leave a like and comment. It does help me out a lot, and it makes me very happy to create content for you guys. So I'll see you guys next time.